He's absolutely brilliant at what he does.
And he's very good at what, exactly.
Amazing.
So if you're going to have an inaugural podcast category,
and you don't have...
It just speaks to living in the blue sky bubble.
Yeah.
But get out of your fucking bubble, you know? I want to be one of you. I am one of you. But you're just so hard to defend because you're just such fucking smug assholes. And this town is the epicenter of the problem. It really is. I just got a Golden Globe nomination for the one I did.
Oh, really?
That's yesterday.
How often do you get nominated for your specials?
Nothing. I used to get nominated for everything.
Yeah.
And then the wokeness came in, and then I was considered conservative, which is ridiculous. So I was what I call soft cancer.
Bill Maher has turned his fire on Hollywood, delivering an explosive critique. The outspoken anti-woke commentator blasted the film industry for forcing ideological agendas and reshaping culture in ways he argues have badly backfired. His takedown was sharp, relentless, and unapologetic. Hit subscribe, and let's get straight to the point today now.
I want to do something next year about celebrities. Not to get too political, but they just make it worse.
Your whole career.
No, I mean with you guys. They just make it worse. Celebrities do when they speak, and they're almost always on one side of the political divide.
Yes.
And that's basically the side I vote for. You know, as I always say to my woke friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost. I could gather, and I think I will, because it'll be funny. Just the incredibly stupid things that celebrities say about politics or finance or something.
Yeah, we're bad.
And then, so if you're like the person out there going, well, how can you live on $100 million a year? Vote Kamala Harris. Like, that's the game over.
Maher delivers a pointed critique of celebrities who casually endorse presidential candidates without bothering to study the facts or understand the political terrain. He acknowledges voting for Kamala Harris, yet says he believed from the outset her campaign was headed for defeat. In his view, her refusal to draw a firm boundary against an increasingly unpopular woke movement left her exposed to voter anger. That hesitation, he argues, created backlash well before Election Day arrived. Maher says he repeatedly warned both the candidate and the Democratic National Committee that dismissing public frustration would prove costly. Those warnings, he claims, were ignored. Party leaders, instead of confronting uncomfortable realities, chose reassurance, optimism, and internal applause over realism and course correction. At the same time, Hollywood celebrities showered Harris with glowing endorsements and confident predictions of an easy win. Maher argues this celebrity-driven echo chamber produced a false sense of momentum, fueled by red carpet praise, social media approval, and moral signaling rather than genuine voter sentiment. In the end, he concludes, reality proved far more powerful than fame.
Good. I can't let the country in the hands of these people. I'll vote for this guy who's crazy, but at least this kind of crazy, I can almost relate to him more.
You can't have movie stars and politicians that we know have hundreds of millions of dollars lecturing you. It's just the elitist thing that came out of all that, the Democrats. Wasn't a positive thing. They are not going to do that in 2028. I bet they'll have regular people.
He's so thoughtful sometimes.
He's very smart about this.
Dana Carvey suggests celebrities may hesitate before rushing to endorse political candidates again, particularly Democratic nominees, after seeing how poorly the last wave of endorsements turned out. He believes the outcome revealed how out of touch Hollywood activism has become with everyday voters. According to Carvey, celebrity political preaching often sounds tone-deaf and accomplishes little, sometimes doing more damage than good. He argues it comes across as elitist when wealthy entertainers, sheltered inside the Hollywood bubble, step in to lecture ordinary Americans on how they should vote. This top-down moral messaging, Carvey says, alienates working-class voters who already feel ignored, talked down to, or misunderstood by cultural elites. Instead of building trust, celebrity endorsements can deepen resentment and fuel skepticism toward the political establishment. Carvey adds that voters are not looking for political guidance from red carpets, luxury lifestyles, or private jets. What they want are leaders who understand rising living costs, public safety concerns, and real everyday struggles. Until celebrities acknowledge that disconnect, he argues, their political influence will continue to fade rather than persuade.
Oh, you
I just got a Golden Globe nomination for the one I did.
Oh, really?
That's yesterday.
How often do you get nominated for your specials?
Nothing. I used to get nominated for everything.
Yeah.
And then the wokeness came in, and then I was considered conservative, which
Are you bad?
ridiculous. So I was what I call soft canceled.
Yeah.
Where you don't
Well, I'm a Bill Clinton liberal, which is from the 90s, which is now called
Me too.
a Nazi.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
You're a
So-
white supremacist.
So this is the first time in a while I've been nominated for something.
Okay.
Which I think shows a little bit that we are coming out of the wokeness. I mean, I'm not going to win, and I'm probably not even going to go, but I take it as a victory that they were not able to ignore how good that special was.
Maher reflects on what he describes as being quietly sidelined for refusing to swear loyalty to the woke consensus. Before he began pushing back, his comedy specials routinely earned major award nominations and industry praise. Once he openly criticized progressive orthodoxy, those invitations, he says, suddenly disappeared. He insists he was never officially banned, just subtly ignored, marginalized, and eased out of the spotlight. The message felt unmistakable: conform or slowly vanish. For years, Maher watched as other comedians played it safe while awards season came and went without his name. Now, as public sentiment shifts and the cultural hold of the woke movement appears to weaken, he finds himself welcomed back into the fold. His recent Golden Globe nomination feels less accidental and more revealing. To Maher, it confirms that Hollywood follows trends, not principles. He deserves credit, he argues, for standing his ground, absorbing the backlash, and refusing to bend under ideological pressure when staying silent would have been far easier.
It's not one that the woke can watch and not throw up, because I call their shit out and the fact that people are laughing shows that it's funny. When you do stupid things, it's funny, and the left did a lot more stupid things in the last 5 to 10 years. And I'm a comedian. I go where the gold is. And it's hitting the side of a barn to make fun of some of this
Sure,
shit.
it's too
I mean,
easy.
if you think, I quoted like very esteemed publications like The Atlantic, or saying things like, separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Well, if that's not of course it does. If anybody can't do 5 minutes on that,
Yeah.
or Mr. Beast, who was helping disabled people, and the Washington Post guy was tweeting like, he thinks disability is something that needs to be solved.
Bill Maher has endured non-stop criticism in recent years for his unapologetic anti-woke position. Many believed the sustained pressure would eventually force him to back down. Instead, he moved in the opposite direction. Rather than retreat, Maher doubled down, dedicating a large portion of his latest comedy special to openly challenging the far left while others carefully avoided controversial territory. He didn't sidestep the issue, he confronted it head-on. That kind of defiance requires real courage in an industry where reputations and careers can disappear overnight. Maher understands those risks, yet he continues to speak his mind regardless of who it offends. Meanwhile, many comedians retreated at the first sign of backlash, choosing comfort over conviction and applause over honesty. Maher refused to follow that path. He didn't water down his jokes, revise his message, or apologize for questioning accepted narratives. Whether audiences agree with his views or not, his readiness to stand alone in a hostile environment is impossible to ignore. In today's comedy landscape, that level of resolve has become increasingly rare.
There's a podcast category at the Globes.
Oh,
No,
really?
you know what someone said? I thought
Is
they
there?
were kidding.
Oh,
I would think you.
did we get nominated?
No,
We're defending
wouldn't you
champions.
have known?
Maher and his guests raised serious questions about why someone as influential as Joe Rogan was entirely missing from this year's Golden Globe podcast nominations. For years, the Joe Rogan Experience has towered over the podcast industry, regularly ranking among the most listened to and most impactful shows worldwide. Its audience size, cultural influence, and long-term dominance are hard to dispute. Yet despite those undeniable credentials, Rogan was conspicuously absent from the nominations, a decision Maher finds difficult to explain. According to Maher, the omission has little to do with quality, reach, or popularity. Instead, he believes ideology plays the central role. Rogan's willingness to question progressive orthodoxy and challenge prevailing woke narratives, Maher argues, has made him unacceptable to awards gatekeepers. In Maher's view, Hollywood institutions are increasingly rewarding ideological conformity rather than genuine merit. Voices that reinforce approved perspectives are elevated, while those who dissent, regardless of their success, are quietly pushed aside. Maher warns that this trend is transforming awards culture into something less about honoring excellence and more about enforcing political loyalty.
Absolutely brilliant at
I
what,
mean,
what he
and
does.
he's very
Yeah.
good at what exactly.
Amazing.
So if you're going to have an inaugural podcast category,
And you don't
maybe
have...
it just
Yeah.
it just speaks to living in the blue sky bubble.
Yeah.
But get out of your bubble, you know. I want to be one of you. I am one of you. But you're just so hard to defend because you're just so fucking smug assholes. And this town is the epicenter of the problem. It really is.
Maher launches a fierce attack on Hollywood, accusing the industry of being locked inside a self-sustaining liberal bubble. He argues that studio executives, award panels, and celebrities have become so insulated that they refuse to engage with anyone who challenges their worldview. Rather than encouraging debate or open discussion, dissent is met with silence, exclusion, or subtle punishment. According to Maher, this attitude has transformed Hollywood into an echo chamber where agreement is rewarded and disagreement is treated like heresy. He points to Joe Rogan as a clear example, claiming the popular podcaster was deliberately sidelined not because he lacks influence or talent, but because he refuses to conform to woke ideology. In Maher's view, Hollywood no longer values honest conversation or diverse thought. It values conformity above all else. By shutting out voices like Rogan, he warns, the industry isn't safeguarding progress. Instead, it's exposing how disconnected it has become from the millions of Americans who don't think, vote, or speak in exactly the same way.
But the thing about the Oscars is they do reflect society. That's why we pay so much attention, partly. And things are always changing in our industry, like streaming. You know, it just changed the whole industry. This happens so often. So they have to come up with new categories for the awards. The Golden Globes came up with a new one this year. That basically picture people liked. They had, you know, they had become such self-congratulating, virtue-signaling bores that they had to go, oh yeah, let's make a category for that. People actually paid to see something great. So
Ma delivers a sharp critique of what he describes as the woke film industry's habit of prioritizing online activist pressure over strong storytelling and genuine artistic merit. He argues that Hollywood now twists itself to satisfy activists, even inventing award categories that celebrate symbolism instead of substance. As an example, he points to last year's introduction of the category, the picture people liked, which he sees as proof of how far awards culture has drifted. Maher ridicules the concept, saying it sounded less like a meaningful honor and more like a participation trophy designed to avoid upsetting anyone. In his view, award shows have become so desperate for relevance and approval that they've weakened their own standards. Rather than recognizing excellence, innovation, or true cultural impact, Hollywood keeps lowering the bar to appease the loudest voices online. Maher warns that this constant virtue signaling doesn't elevate cinema or creativity. Instead, it cheapens the art form by rewarding shallow distinctions. If the trend continues, he argues, once prestigious awards risk becoming empty gestures instead of genuine recognition of real achievement.
so there's some new Oscar categories. Would you like to hear the Oscar category? I knew you would. I knew you would want to hear them. For example, this was needed. Best editing of a film that's still an hour too long. Achievement in ethnic prosthetics. Best achievement in replacing an actor who tweeted something offensive. Best use of a freeze frame, followed by the words, "You're probably wondering how I got here."
Maher then shifts his focus to Hollywood executives, unleashing sharp mockery through a series of biting parodies aimed at the Oscars and Golden Globes. He jokingly invents exaggerated woke-style awards that mirror the kinds of honors the industry now celebrates, using humor to highlight what he sees as their growing absurdity. These sketches aren't just meant to entertain. They're designed to expose how hollow and performative many modern accolades have become. Maher argues that awards once meant to recognize excellence in filmmaking have been diluted by ideological box-checking and moral signaling. By parodying categories that prioritize messaging over merit, he emphasizes how little these trophies truly represent today. In his view, Hollywood has replaced genuine achievement with symbolic validation, turning prestigious ceremonies into self-congratulatory showcases. When every gesture is rewarded, he suggests, nothing carries real meaning anymore. The satire resonates because it reflects a deeper frustration with an industry that seems more focused on approval than creativity. Maher's point is blunt. Meaning has been traded for applause. Hollywood, he argues, has lost its sense of direction, becoming obsessed with ideology, virtue signaling, and conformity. Instead of celebrating originality, it now rewards compliance. By sidelining dissenting voices and inventing hollow honors, Maher believes the industry has drained substance from both comedy and cinema. His relentless critiques, sharp satire, and refusal to fall in line expose an entertainment culture deeply uncomfortable with disagreement. Whether he's challenging celebrity activism, mocking empty awards, or defending free expression, Maher positions himself as a rare insider willing to confront the system. Love him or hate him, his commentary resonates because it taps into a growing public fatigue with Hollywood's echo chamber. As audiences continue to drift away, Maher's warning looms large. When art becomes activism and applause replaces honesty, credibility collapses, and no amount of trophies can restore it. This brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.